Hey, shalom, shalom. Most High in Christ bless. Most High in Christ bless you all. Hey, we still getting them 4 chapters in today. We still getting the 4 chapters in today. We had some technical difficulties. Um, so I'm Officer Kimmy Will, Orlando Camp. I'll be taking over uh, so we can get our 4 chapters in. All right, Israel. Let me know if you can see and hear me clearly before we begin. All right, type of Y if you can see and hear me clearly. Also, can we get somebody to scribe? Can we get a brother or a soldier to scribe so we can get these 4 chapters in? All right, the word has to go out. All right, the word has to go out. So we're gonna read 2 Kings chapters 11 through 14. All right. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. It put us behind a little bit, a little. All right, but we're gonna get these chapters in. All right, do we have a scribe? I'm gonna go ahead because we're behind. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the reading, and if we got a scribe that could jump on, it would be greatly appreciated. All right. So we're gonna start at 2 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. And when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. But Jehoshaphat, the daughter of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons which were slain. And they hid him, even him and his nurse, so that he was not slain. And he was with her hid in the house of the Lord 6 years. And Athaliah did reign over the land. Okay. So the son was hid for 6 years while Athaliah was queen. All right. It says in the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers over hundreds with the captains of and the guard, and brought them to him into the house of the Lord, and made a covenant with them, and took an oath of them in the house of the Lord, and shewed them the king's son. And he commanded them, saying, this is the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you that enter into the Sabbath shall even be keepers of the watch of the king's house. And a third part shall be at the gate of Sir, and a third part at the gate behind the guard. So shall ye keep the watch of the house. So shall you keep the watch of the house, that it be not broken down. Verse 7. And 2 parts of all of you that go forth on the Sabbath, even they shall keep watch of the house of the Lord about the king. And ye shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapon in his hand. And he that cometh within the ranges, let him be slain. But be ye with the king as he goeth out, and as he cometh in. You're saying the volume is going in and out. The volume is going in and out. Let's see if I can adjust it. How about now? How about now? All right, I'm gonna pick up the reading at verse 9. We're 2 Kings chapter 11, verse 9. All right, Omar. Appreciate you for picking up the scribing for us. 2 Kings chapter 11 and verse 9. And the captains over the hundreds did according to all things Jehoiada the priest commanded. And they took every man his men that were to come in on the Sabbath, with them that should go out on the Sabbath, and came to Jehoiada the priest. And the captains over hundreds did the priest give King David spears and shields that were in the temple of the Lord. And the guard stood, every man with his weapons in his hand, round about the king, from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar and the temple. So you see, they were guarding and have weapons. All right. Now today our weapons are what? The scriptures. But you see, they had weapons of warfare in their hands. All right. It says, and he brought forth the king's son and put the crown upon him and gave him the testimony, and they made him king and anointed him. And they clapped their hands and said, God save the king. And when Athaliah heard the noise of the guard and of the people, she came to the people into the temple of the Lord. And when she looked, behold, the king stood by a pillar, as the manner was, and the princes and the trumpeters by the king. And all the people of the land rejoiced and blew with trumpets. And Athaliah rent her clothes and cried, Treason, treason. But Jehoiada the priest commanded but Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains of the hundreds, the officers of the hosts, and said unto them, Have her forth without the ranges, and him that followeth her kill with the sword. For the priest had said, Let her not be slain in the house of the Lord. Okay, so they removed her out of the house of the Lord and slew her. Okay, all right. And they laid hands on her, and she went by the way which the horses came into the king's house, and there was she slain. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people, that they should be the Lord's people, between the king also and the people. And all the people of the land went into the house of Baal and break it down, his altars and his images. They in pieces thoroughly, and slew Mattan, the priest of Baal, before the altars. And the priests appointed officers over the Lord, over the house of the Lord. And he took the rulers of hundreds, and the captains, and the guard, and all the people of the land, and they brought down the king from the house of the Lord, and came by the way of the gate of the guard to the king's house. And he sat on the throne of the kings. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet. And they slew Athaliah with the sword beside the king's house. 7 years old was Jehoash when he began to reign. Okay, so you see when it says back in verse 17, and Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people, that they should be the Lord's people. All right. And that's what's going on today. As you wake up and you repent and start keeping the commandments, start coming out of the Christian churches or the Muslim mosque or wherever you were serving in idolatry, that we are now again becoming the Lord's people. All right. So let's go to 2 Kings chapter 12 and verse 1. In the 7th year of Jehu, Jehoash began to reign, and 40 years reigned he in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Zibiah of Beersheba. And Jehoash did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, all the days wherein Jehoiada the priest instructed him. Okay, so you see that uh, he was being instructed. You know, you have people that say that the Lord told me, or I I stay at home and I read the Bible and I got this information, but the Bible teaches us that we must be instructed. Matter of fact, I just want to put one precept to back that up. I'm not gonna go into much because um, we press for time. But just like today, I'm gonna read something right quick out of Romans chapter 10. I'm gonna read verse 13 down. It says, "For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. How then shall they call upon him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher?" The preacher is what? Someone that guides you and instructs you. Okay? "And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring tidings, glad tidings of good things." Okay, so now that's showing you that even today, as you see here in IUIC, that we have a structure, we have a leader, Bishop Nathaniel, and then we have deacons and we have captains. So you get instructions. You're being instructed on how to read the word and how to get understanding. Okay, so make no mistake about it. We all need instructors and tutors. All right. So let's go back. 2 Kings, chapter 12, verse 3. "But the high places were not taken away. The people still sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places. And Jehoash said to the priest, all the money of the dedicated things that is brought into the house of the Lord, even the money of everyone that passeth the account, the money that every man is set at, and all the money that cometh into any man's heart to bring into the house of the Lord, let the priest take it to them, every man of his acquaintance, and let them repair the breaches of the house, wheresoever any breach shall be found. But it was so that in the 23rd year of King Jehoash, the priest had not repaired the breaches of the house." All right, so you got when he came into power, he was like seven, and it says the 3 and 20th year, right? So about 15, 16 years in of a building fund, and ain't nothing getting done. Then King Jehoash called for Jehoiada the priest, and the other priests, and said unto them, why repair ye not the breaches of the house? Now therefore receive no more money of your acquaintance, but deliver it for the breaches of the house. And the priest consented to repair no more, consented to receive no more money of the people, neither to repair the breaches of the house. But Jehoiada the priest took a chest and bored a hole in the lid of it, and set it beside the altar on the right side as one cometh into the house of the Lord. And the priest that kept the door put therein all the money that was brought into the house of the Lord. And it was so, when they saw that there was much money in the chest, that the king's scribe and the high priest came up, and they that put up in bags told the money that was found in the house of the Lord. And they gave the money being told into the hands of them that did the work, and that had the oversight of the house of the Lord. And they laid it out to the carpenters and builders that wrought upon the house of the Lord, and to the masons and hewers of stone, and to buy timber and hewed stone to repair the breaches of the house of the Lord, and for all that was laid out for the house to repair it. Howbeit, there were not made for the house of the Lord bowls of silver, snuffers, basins, trumpets, any vessels of gold or vessels of silver of the money that was brought in unto the house of the Lord. But they gave that to the workmen, and repaired therewith the house of the Lord. Moreover, they reckoned not with the men into whose hands they delivered the money, but to be bestowed on the workmen. for they dealt faithfully. The trespass money and the sin money was not brought into the house of the Lord. It was the priest. Then Hazael. So when it says in 15, moreover, they reckon not with the men into whose hands they uh, they delivered the money to be bestowed upon the workmen, but they dealt faithfully. This is why we have to have records. Okay, you gotta keep very good records of all the things that you do. Okay, especially in when it concerns money. I'm gonna prove that. Let's go to the book of Sirach 42. And let me get it. Verse 7. Deliver all things in number and weight, and put all in writing that thou givest out or receivest in. Okay. So we got to put all things in writing. All right. So, if it's business regarding um the church and the body, we got to make account of these things. All right. And we're seeing in the scriptures why. Remember, things written aforetime were written for our learning. So these things we have to learn um to be mindful of. All right. So let me go back to verse 17. Now we're in 2 Kings chapter 12 and verse 17. Then Hazael, king of Syria, went up and fought against Gath and took it. And Hazael set his face to go up to Jerusalem. And Jehoash, king of Judah, took all the hallowed things that Jehoshaphat and Jehoram and Ahaziah, his fathers, kings of Judah, had dedicated, and his own hallowed things, and all the gold that was found in the treasures of the house of the Lord and in the king's house, and sent it to Hazael, king of Syria. And he went away from Jerusalem. And the rest of the acts of Joash and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And his servants arose and made a conspiracy and slew Joash in the house of Milo, which goeth down to Silla. For Josachar, the son of Shimeah, and Jehozabad, the son of Shomer, his servant, smote him, and he died. And they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and Amaziah, his son, reigned in his stead. All right. So now we're going to go on to chapter 13. Okay. 2 Kings, chapter 13, verse 1. In the 23rd year of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, king of Judah, Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, began to reign over Israel in Samaria and reigned 17 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and followed the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin. He departed not therefrom. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he delivered them into the hand of Hazael, king of Syria, and into the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, all their days. And Jehoahaz besought the Lord, and the Lord hearkened unto him, for he saw the oppression of Israel, because the king of Syria oppressed them. And the Lord gave Israel a savior, so that they went out from under the hand of the Syrians. And the children of Israel dwelt in their tents as before time. Nevertheless, they departed not from the sins of the house of Jeroboam, who made Israel sin, but walked therein. And there remained the grove also in Samaria. Neither did he leave the people to Jehoahaz, but 50 horsemen, and 10 chariots, and 10,000 footmen. For the king of Syria had destroyed them, and had made them like the dust by the threshing. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoahaz, and all that he did, and his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the king of Israel. But Jehoahaz slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria. And Joash, the son of, and Joash, his son, reigned in his stead. In the 30th and 7th year of Joash, king of Judah, began Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 16 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin, but he walked therein. And the rest of the acts of Joash, and all that he did, and his might, wherewith he fought against Amaziah the king of Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Joash slept with his fathers, and Jeroboam sat upon the throne. And Joash was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. Now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died. And Joash, the king of Israel, came down unto him and wept over his face and said, O my father, the chariot of Israel and the horsemen thereof. And Elisha said unto him, Take bow and arrows. And he took unto him bow and arrows. And he said unto the king of Israel, Put thine hand upon the bow. And he put his hand upon it. And Elisha put his hands upon the king's hands. And he said, Open the window eastward. And he opened it. Then Elisha said, Shoot. And he shot. And he said, The arrow of the Lord's deliverance, and the arrow of deliverance from Syria. For thou shalt smite the Syrians in Aphek till thou have consumed them. And he said, Take the arrows. And he took them. And he said unto the king of Israel, Smite upon the ground. And he smote thrice and stayed. And the man of God was wroth with him. And he said, Thou should have smitten 5 or 6 times, then thou hast smitten Syria till thou hast consumed it. Whereas now thou shalt smite Syria but thrice. And Elisha died, and they buried him. And the bands of the Moabites invaded the land at the coming in of the year. And it came to pass, as they were burying a man, that behold, they spied a band of men, and they cast the man into the sepulchre of Elisha. And when the man was let down and touched the bones of Elisha, he revived and stood upon his feet. But Hazael, king of Syria, oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoahaz. And the Lord was gracious unto them, and had compassion on them, and had respect unto them, because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast them away from his presence as yet. So Hazael, king of Syria, died, and Benhadad, his son, reigned in his stead. And Jehoahaz, the son of Jehoahaz, took again out of the hand of Benhadad, the son of Hazael, the cities which he had taken out of the hand of Jehoahaz his father by war. 3 times did Jehoahaz beat him and recovered the cities of Israel. All right, so we are going into the final chapter, 2 Kings, chapter 14. What time is it? Yeah, we got time. We got time. We got time. All praises to the Most High. And in the 2nd year of Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, reigned Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah. And he was 25 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jehoiadan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, yet not like David his father. He did according to all things as Joash his father did. Now, when it says, and he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, yet not like David his father. Um, let's get a little understanding on that. Go to 2 Chronicles 25. And let's see what that means. 2 Chronicles chapter 25. and 2. I'm going to read 1 and 2. Second Chronicles 25, 1 and 2. Amaziah was 20 and 5 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 20 and 9 years in Jerusalem. We just read that. And his mother's name was Jehoiadan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, but not with a perfect heart. Okay? But not with a perfect heart. So when we go back and we read in 2 Kings 14 and 3, it says, and he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, yet not like David his father. Because we read in the scriptures that David um, served the Lord with a perfect heart. The only thing that was his the sin that he committed with Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah the Hittite. That was the only thing that the Lord um, seemed to hold against him. But what did he do? He repented. He had godly sorrow. I'm going to prove that in Sirach. Sirach, I think we read this the other day. But I'm going to go back to it. Sirach chapter 49, verse 4. I'm going to read 3 and 4. When you started 1, it's speaking about Joash, okay? Josias, I'm sorry. Josias, king of Judah. But it says, he directed his heart unto the Lord, and in the time of the ungodly, he established the worship of God. All except David and Ezekias and Josias were defective, for they forsook the law of the Most High God. Even the kings of Judah failed. Okay, so it says all except David, Ezekias, and Josias. Okay, so when it says, let's go back, 2 Kings 14 and 3. All right, when it says that and he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, yet not like David his father. That's going in him being one of those kings that the Most High saw was defective. Okay. He didn't have a perfect heart towards keeping the commandments and towards the Lord. All right. So we're going to read on. Verse 4. Howbeit the high places were not taken away, as yet the people did sacrifice and burnt incense on the high places. And it came to pass, as soon as the kingdom was confirmed in his hand, that he slew the servants which had slain the king his father. But the children of the murderers he slew not. Okay, so he killed those that had a hand in it, but their children he slew not. According unto that which is written in the law, I'm sorry, written in the book of the law of Moses, wherein the Lord commanded, saying, the fathers shall be put to death for the fathers shall not be put to death for the children, nor the children be put to death for the fathers. But every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Okay, so what does that mean? Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Let's get that law in Deuteronomy chapter 24. Deuteronomy chapter 24. All right. Which is why it's important that we first do what? Learn the commandments. All right. We got to learn the laws. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 16. Sorry. Verse 16. The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for their fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Okay, so that's where he got that from. So Amaziah was keeping that commandment. All right. Now let's go back. 2 Kings chapter 14. 2 Kings chapter 14, verse 7. Are y'all still able to see and hear me clearly? Saying I'm having problems with the video on this end. Are y'all still able to see and hear me clearly before I go forward? Let me get a yes or a thumbs up. Why? If you could still, okay. I see the scribe got 2 Kings 14:7, so we should be good. I'm gonna go forward. All right, Sister Zahaba, appreciate it. Okay, so 2 Kings chapter 14, verse 7. He slew of Edom in the valley of Salt 10,000, and took Salah by war, and called the name of it Joktheel unto this day. Okay. Verse 8. Then Amaziah sent messengers to Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, Come, let us look one another in the face. And Jehoash, the king of Israel, sent to Amaziah, the king of Judah, saying, The thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give thy daughter to my son to wife. And there passed by a wild beast that was in Lebanon, and trode down the thistle. Thou hast indeed smitten Edom, and thine heart hath lifted thee up. Glory of this, and tarry at home. For why shouldest thou meddle to thy hurt, and that thou shouldest fall, even thou, and Judah with thee? But Amaziah would not hear. Therefore Jehoash, king of Israel, went up. He and Amaziah, king of Judah, looked one another in the face at Bethshemesh, which belongeth to Judah. And Judah was put to the worse before Israel, and they fled every man to their tents. And Jehoash, king of Israel, took Amaziah, king of Judah, and the son of Jehoash, the son of Ahaziah, at Bethshemesh, and came to Jerusalem, and brake down the wall of Jerusalem from the gate of Ephraim unto the corner gate, 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and silver and all the vessels that were found in the house of the Lord, and in the treasures of the king's house, and hostages. What is hostages? Hostages are people that you take against their will, like we are here today in America. All right. And returned to Samaria. Now, the rest of the acts of Jehoash, which he did, and his might, and how he fought with Amaziah, king of Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehoash slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. And Jeroboam his son reigned in his stead. And Amaziah the son of Joash, king of Judah, lived after the death of Jehoash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, 15 years. And the rest of the acts of Amaziah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? Now they made a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish. But they sent after him to Lachish and slew him there. And they bought him on horses, and he was buried at Jerusalem with his fathers in the city of David. And all the people of Judah took Azariah, which was 16 years old, and made him king in his father instead of his father Amaziah. And he built a lot and restored it to Judah. After that, the king slept with his fathers. In the 15th year of Amaziah, the king, I'm sorry, verse 23. Ugh, getting tongue tied here. In the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, began to reign in Samaria and reigned 40 and 1 years. This is Jeroboam the second. All right, Jeroboam 2. It's not the Jeroboam at the split, obviously. Okay. Um, verse 24. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And he restored the coast from the entering of Hamath unto the sea of the plain, according to the word of the Lord God of Israel, which he spake by the hand of his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, which was of Gath Hefer. Okay, Gath Hefer. For the Lord saw the affliction of Israel, that it was very bitter. for there was not any shut up, nor any left, nor any helper for Israel. And the Lord said, not that he would blot out the name of Israel from under the sun, but he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam the son of Joash. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam and all that he did, and his might, now how he warred, and how he recovered Damascus and Hamath, which belongeth to Judah, for Israel. Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jeroboam slept with his fathers, even with the kings of Israel, and Zechariah his son reigned in his stead. All right. So that's going to conclude the reading for today. We made it with a few minutes to spare. Um, so we read today 2 Kings chapters 11 through 14. Again, uh, appreciate you for sticking with us, being patient. We had a little technical difficulties, but we're going to make sure that the word goes out. All right, Israel. So remember to visit israelunite.org. Remember to donate. Join the Booster Club if you have not. All right, so this word can go out. Pray that the Lord bring an end to this COVID-19. Pray for those of our people that have been affected, either sick or either financial difficulties. Some of you that are on today may be in that boat. Let's pray for each other and pray that the Lord give us some relief so that our leadership can go back out and teach this gospel, all right, to our people. All right. So now, if you have questions, post your questions and the captains will answer them. All right. So with that, I'm going to say shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless you all.